Welcome to the Exponential English Podcast. This is a place to slow down, to breathe, and to learn English naturally. Here we use simple words, clear sentences, and real ideas. You do not need to understand everything. Just relax and listen. You can listen while walking, while cooking, or while resting. Every episode is designed to help you think in English. Not fast, not stressful, just step by step. This is your time, your practice, your growth. Let's begin. Today we're going to practice a speaking skill that is simple but very powerful. It is called shadowing. And yes, you can do it even if you are busy, even if you feel shy, even if your English is not perfect. My name is David, and in this lesson, I will guide you step by step. First, I will show you what shadowing is. Then we will use a short story for practice. The story is called I Went to the Airport. But don't worry, you do not need to memorize anything. You do not need to understand every single word. Your main goal is to speak, to copy the sound, to copy the rhythm, to copy the feeling. Okay, so what is shadowing? Shadowing is when you listen to an English speaker and you repeat immediately, not 10 seconds later, not after you think a lot, immediately like a shadow. If I walk, my shadow walks. If I stop, my shadow stops. If I speak, my shadow speaks. That is the idea. You listen and you copy. You try to copy three things. First, the voice. Second, the speed. Third, the feeling. Not perfectly, just try. When you do shadowing, your mouth learns English, your ears learn English, your brain learns English, and slowly, your speaking becomes clearer. Your listening becomes stronger. Your confidence grows. Now let me show you the exact way to do it. I will speak one sentence. Then I will pause, and you repeat. Ready? Here we go. Shadowing is listening and repeating right away. Now you repeat. Pause. Good. Let's do one more. Try to copy the voice, the speed, and the feeling. Now you repeat. Pause. Nice. Now, an important tip. When you shadow, you might feel uncomfortable. You might think, I sound silly. Or, I can't speak that fast. Or, my accent is bad. That is normal. Shadowing is training. Training is uncomfortable at first. When you lift weights, it feels heavy. When you run, you feel tired. When you shadow, your mouth feels slow. But that is how you improve. So be kind to yourself. Now, another tip. You can shadow in two ways. One way is full speed. You listen. You repeat immediately. You try to match the speed. This is great for rhythm and natural speaking. The second way is slow shadowing. You listen, you pause, you repeat more slowly, you focus on clear sounds. This is great for pronunciation. Today we will use both. But for now, we start with full speed shadowing. Let's warm up. I will say a few simple sentences. You repeat after each one. I'm ready to practice English. Repeat. Pause. I will speak with confidence. Repeat. Pause. I will copy the sound and the feeling. Repeat. Pause. Good. Now, one more important rule. When you shadow, do not whisper. Speak out loud, even if it is quiet, even if it is soft. But make a real voice. Your mouth needs real practice. Okay, now we are ready for our story practice. The story is called I Went to the Airport. This story is also a shadowing practice story. It is written in clear, simple English, and it has emotion. It has mystery. It has fear. It has courage. It has kindness. So, as you listen, try to copy the emotion too. If the character is worried, sound worried. If the character is calm, sound calm. If the character is surprised, sound surprised. Because real English is not only words, it is feeling. Okay, let's begin the story. Listen and shadow. Here's the first part. My name is Anna. Repeat. Pause. I am 22 years old. Repeat. Pause. I work at a small bookstore. Repeat. Pause. I like my job. Repeat. Pause. It is quiet. Repeat. Pause. It smells like paper and coffee. Repeat. Pause. One day I got a message from my best friend, Maya. Repeat. Pause. It was strange. Repeat. Pause. It was short. Repeat. Pause. It said, Anna, please come to the airport. Terminal 3, now. Repeat. Pause. When you shadow that sentence, try to sound like you are reading a serious message. Not happy, not relaxed. Try again in your mind. Okay, let's continue. I called Maya. Repeat. Pause. She did not answer. Repeat. Pause. I felt nervous. Repeat. Pause. But I decided to go. Repeat. Pause. I took a bus to the airport. Repeat. Pause. On the bus, I looked out the window. Repeat. Pause. I tried to stay calm. Repeat. Pause. But my hands were cold. Repeat. Pause. Now, notice this. My hands were cold. This is a small sentence, but it shows fear. When you shadow it, make it quiet and real. Okay. Next. When I arrived, I walked into Terminal 3. Repeat. Pause. It was crowded. Repeat. Pause. People were moving fast. Repeat. Pause. I looked around. Repeat. Pause. I did not see Maya. Repeat. Pause. I waited near a big sign. Repeat. Pause. I checked my phone again and again. Repeat. Pause. No Maya. Now, here comes the first moment in the story. Listen. While I was waiting, I saw a young girl crying. Repeat. Pause. She was sitting on a bench. Repeat. Pause. She looked scared. Repeat. Pause. I walked to her slowly. Repeat. Pause. I said, Hi, are you okay? Repeat. Pause. The girl shook her head. Repeat. Pause. She said, I missed my flight. Repeat. Pause. She said, I don't know what to do. Repeat. Pause. Now, let's do something useful here. We will shadow one line 2 times. First, normal. I missed my flight. Repeat. Pause. Now, add emotion. Sad, scared. I missed my flight. Repeat. Pause. Good. Now continue. I sat next to her. Repeat. Pause. I said, It's okay. We can ask for help. Repeat. Pause. I looked for an airport worker. Repeat. Pause. I saw a woman in a uniform. Repeat. Pause. I waved my hand. Repeat. Pause. The woman came to us. Repeat. Pause. I explained the problem. Repeat. Pause. The worker talked to the girl. Repeat. Pause. Her name was Sarah. Repeat. Pause. They walked to a desk together. Repeat. Pause. Now, this is important. Anna is helping someone, even though Anna is nervous. That tells us something about Anna. She is kind. She does not ignore people. Okay. Now the story shifts. Listen. After that, my phone buzzed. Repeat. Pause. It was a message from Maya. Repeat. Pause. It said, Anna, I'm not in Terminal 3. I'm in Terminal 2. I'm scared. Repeat. Pause. Now, when you shadow I'm scared, make it urgent. Again. I'm scared. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. My heart started beating fast. Repeat. Pause. I walked quickly to Terminal 2. Repeat. Pause. I did not run, but I wanted to. Repeat. Pause. I looked left and right. Repeat. Pause. I finally saw Maya near a coffee shop. Repeat. Pause. She looked pale. Repeat. Pause. She looked like she had not slept. Repeat. Pause. I said, Maya, what's going on? Repeat. Pause. Now we stop for a moment. You just practice shadowing with a warm-up and the beginning of a mystery story. In the next part, Maya is going to tell Anna something frightening, and Anna will have to decide what to do next. So take a breath, relax your shoulders, and when you're ready, we will continue the story and the shadowing practice from that coffee shop in Terminal 2. Okay, welcome back. We are in Terminal 2 near the coffee shop. Take a small breath, and let's continue the story. Listen and shadow. I stood in front of Maya. Repeat. Pause. I looked at her face. Repeat. Pause. I said, Maya, tell me, what happened? Repeat. Pause. Maya swallowed. Repeat. Pause. She spoke quietly. Repeat. Pause. She said, Anna, I think someone is following me. Repeat. Pause. Now say it again with fear. I think someone is following me. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. I blinked. Repeat. Pause. I said, following you from where? Repeat. Pause. Maya said, from the bus. Repeat. Pause. She said, I saw him get on behind me. Repeat. Pause. She said, every time I moved, he moved. Repeat. Pause. She said, he didn't talk to me, but I felt his eyes. Repeat. Pause. Now this sentence is strong. I felt his eyes. Repeat. Pause. Say it again, slower, with chills. I felt his eyes. Repeat. Pause. Nice. Now continue. I looked around the terminal. Repeat. Pause. I tried to stay calm. Repeat. Pause. I said, do you see him now? Repeat. Pause. Maya nodded. Repeat. Pause. She pointed just a little. Repeat. Pause. I followed her finger with my eyes. Repeat. Pause. And then I saw him. Repeat. Pause. A man in a black cap. Repeat. Pause. A brown coat. Repeat. Pause. He was standing near a wall. Repeat. Pause. He was pretending to look at his phone. Repeat. Pause. But he was watching us. Repeat. Pause. Now, when you shadow, try to sound like you were noticing something dangerous. Okay, next. I moved closer to Maya. Repeat. Pause. I said, don't look at him. Stay with me. Repeat. Pause. Maya whispered, I'm scared, Anna. Repeat. Pause. Now again, with emotion. I'm scared, Anna. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. I took Maya's hand. Repeat. Pause. I said, we're going to tell the airport police. Repeat. Pause. We walked fast. Repeat. Pause. We did not run. Repeat. Pause. But we walked fast. Repeat. Pause. We found a police desk near the entrance. Repeat. Pause. A female officer looked up. Repeat. Pause. I said, excuse me, we need help. Repeat. Pause. Now say we need help clearly like you mean it. We need help. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. I explained what Maya saw. Repeat. Pause. The officer listened carefully. Repeat. Pause. She asked questions. Repeat. Pause. Where did you first see him? Repeat. Pause. What does he look like? Repeat, pause. Did he speak to you? Repeat, pause. Maya answered softly. Repeat, pause. The officer nodded. Repeat, pause. She said, stay here, do not leave. Repeat, pause. Now, firm voice. Stay here, do not leave. Repeat, pause. Good, next. I looked back toward the terminal. Repeat, pause. The man in the black cap was still there. Repeat, pause. For a moment, he met my eyes. Repeat, pause. And then, repeat, pause. He turned and walked away. Repeat, pause. He disappeared into the crowd. Repeat, pause. Maya's shoulders dropped. Repeat, pause. She said, he's gone. Repeat, pause. I said, maybe, but we will be careful. Repeat, pause. Now pause in your mind, because something important happens next. Okay, continue. The officer came back. Repeat, pause. She said, we will look for him. Repeat, pause. She said, do you want to make a report? Repeat, pause. Maya looked at me. Repeat, pause. I said, yes, please. Repeat, pause. We gave our names. Repeat, pause. We described the man again. Repeat, pause. And then the officer said something that made me feel a little safer. Repeat, pause. She said, you did the right thing. Repeat, pause. Now shadow it with a warm feeling. You did the right thing. Repeat, pause. Nice. Next. After some time, Maya said she wanted to leave the airport. Repeat, pause. She said, I don't want to stay here. Repeat, pause. I agreed. Repeat, pause. I said, let's go somewhere busy. Repeat, pause. We walked outside. Repeat, pause. We got into a taxi. Repeat, pause. The taxi driver said, where to? Repeat, pause. I said, a busy mall, please. Repeat, pause. The taxi started moving. Repeat, pause. I sat next to Maya. Repeat, pause. I tried to talk calmly. Repeat, pause. I said, you're safe with me. Repeat, pause. Now say it like you are protecting someone. You're safe with me. Repeat, pause. Good. Next. I looked out the back window. Repeat, pause. And then I saw him again. Repeat, pause. The man in the black cap. Repeat, pause. He was standing near the curb. Repeat, pause. He was watching our taxi leave. Repeat, pause. My friends, slow down here. This is a perfect place to practice emotion. Try this line again with shock. He was watching our taxi leave. Repeat, pause. Good. Next. I turned my head quickly. Repeat, pause. I said, Maya, I think he's still watching us. Repeat, pause. Maya's eyes widened. Repeat, pause. She said, no, no. Repeat, pause. I said, stay calm, just breathe. Repeat, pause. Now, one more moment. I checked the mirror in the taxi. Repeat, pause. I saw a black car behind us. Repeat, pause. It was close. Repeat, pause. Too close. Repeat, pause. Now again, slow, clear. Too close. Repeat, pause. Good. Next. I watched the black car. Repeat, pause. When our taxi turned, the black car turned. Repeat, pause. When our taxi stopped, the black car stopped. Repeat, pause. My friend, that is scary. Now shadow this with strong fear. He is following us. Repeat, pause. Say it again, but quieter. He is following us. Repeat, pause. Nice. Next. Maya covered her mouth. Repeat, pause. She said, what do we do? Repeat, pause. I said, we go to a busy place. We ask for security. Repeat, pause. I leaned forward. Repeat, pause. I spoke to the taxi driver. Repeat. Pause. I said, please drive to the main entrance of the mall, not the side, the main entrance. Repeat. Pause. Now speak clearly and politely. Please drive to the main entrance. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. The driver nodded. Repeat. Pause. He said, okay? Repeat. Pause. The mall appeared in front of us. Repeat. Pause. There were many people. Repeat. Pause. Families. Repeat. Pause. Workers. Repeat. Pause. Tourists. Repeat. Pause. Our taxi stopped. Repeat. Pause. I paid quickly. Repeat. Pause. I said, thank you. Repeat. Pause. I grabbed Maya's hand. Repeat. Pause. We stepped out into the crowd. Repeat. Pause. Now, listen carefully. The black car stopped across the street. Repeat. Pause. The man got out. Repeat. Pause. He walked toward us. Repeat. Pause. Now, let's shadow one short sentence 3 times because it's powerful. He walked toward us. Repeat. Pause. Again, faster. He walked toward us. Repeat. Pause. Again, slower, with tension. He walked toward us. Repeat. Pause. Great. Now continue. I said, don't stop. Keep walking. Repeat. Pause. We moved through the mall entrance. Repeat. Pause. We went inside. Repeat. Pause. The air was cool. Repeat. Pause. The lights were bright. Repeat. Pause. I looked around for security. Repeat. Pause. I saw a guard in a dark uniform. Repeat. Pause. I walked straight to him. Repeat. Pause. I said, sir, we need help. A man is following us. Repeat. Pause. Now say, we need help again with a steady voice. We need help. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. The guard looked serious. Repeat. Pause. He said, where is he? Repeat. Pause. I pointed behind us. Repeat. Pause. The man was coming in. Repeat. Pause. He was close now. Repeat. Pause. Maya's face went white. Repeat. Pause. She whispered, that's him. Repeat. Pause. The guard stepped forward. Repeat. Pause. He raised one hand. Repeat. Pause. He said, stop there. Repeat. Pause. Now, firm voice. Stop there. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. The man stopped. Repeat. Pause. He lifted his chin. Repeat. Pause. He said, she's my sister. Repeat. Pause. Now, copy the confidence, like someone lying. She's my sister. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. Maya said loudly, no, I'm not. Repeat. Pause. Nice. Say it again with strength. No, I'm not. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. The guard looked at Maya. Repeat. Pause. He said, do you know this man? Repeat. Pause. Maya shook her head. Repeat. Pause. She said, no, I don't know him. Repeat. Pause. The guard turned back to the man. Repeat. Pause. He said, wait here, I'm calling the police. Repeat. Pause. Now you can hear the rhythm, right? Wait here, I'm calling the police. Try to match the rhythm when you shadow. Okay, next. The man's eyes moved left and right. Repeat. Pause. He looked like he wanted to run. Repeat. Pause. But 2 more guards came. Repeat. Pause. They stood near him. Repeat. Pause. And the man stayed still. Repeat. Pause. Soon police arrived. Repeat. Pause. They spoke to the guards. Repeat. Pause. They spoke to Maya. Repeat. Pause. They spoke to me. Repeat. Pause. One officer said, did this start at the airport? Repeat. Pause. I said, yes. Repeat. Pause. Now this is a key moment. The police searched the man's phone. Repeat. Pause. And they found photos. Repeat. Pause. Photos of Maya. Repeat. Pause. Now, slow down. This is shocking. Photos of Maya. Repeat. Pause. Again, slower. Photos of Maya. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. Maya stared at the officer. Repeat. Pause. She said, "Why does he have those?" Repeat. Pause. The officer said, "We're trying to understand." Repeat. Pause. The man finally spoke again. Repeat. Pause. He said, "I'm not hurting her." Repeat. Pause. He said, "It's my job." Repeat. Pause. Now copy his calm voice. "It's my job." Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. The officer asked, "What is your job?" Repeat. Pause. The man hesitated. Repeat. Pause. Then he said, "I'm a private detective." Repeat. Pause. Now, clearer pronunciation. Private detective. Repeat. Pause. Again. Private detective. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. The officer asked, "Who hired you?" Repeat. Pause. The man looked down. Repeat. Pause. He said a name. Repeat. Pause. Maya froze. Repeat. Pause. She whispered, "That's my ex-boyfriend." Repeat. Pause. Now, say it with a mix of anger and fear. "That's my ex-boyfriend." Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. The officer nodded. Repeat. Pause. He said, "We suspected that." Repeat. Pause. He said, "We saw you at the airport. We saw him too." Repeat. Pause. He said, "He followed you from the airport to this mall." Repeat. Pause. Now that sentence is long, so let's do slow shadowing. Listen to the sentence, then repeat slowly. He followed you from the airport to this mall. Repeat. Pause. Good. Now full speed shadowing. He followed you from the airport to this mall. Repeat. Pause. Nice. Next. The officer said, "This is not okay." Repeat. Pause. He said, "We will handle this." Repeat. Pause. Maya let out a long breath. Repeat. Pause. She looked at me. Repeat. Pause. She said, "Anna, thank you." Repeat. Pause. Now say thank you softly. Thank you. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. Later, when we were finally safe, we sat in a small cafe inside the mall. Repeat. Pause. Maya held a cup of tea with both hands. Repeat. Pause. She said, "I thought I was alone." Repeat. Pause. I shook my head. Repeat. Pause. I said, "You're not alone. Not anymore." Repeat. Pause. Now, say it with warmth. You're not alone. Repeat. Pause. Good. Now the story moves forward. Listen. That night, I went home. Repeat. Pause. I lay in bed, but I could not sleep. Repeat. Pause. My mind replayed the day. Repeat. Pause. The airport. Repeat. Pause. The black cap. Repeat. Pause. The black car. Repeat. Pause. The mall. Repeat. Pause. I kept thinking one thing. Repeat. Pause. I was scared, but I still helped. Repeat. Pause. Now, that sentence is a beautiful reflection. Say it again, slowly. I was scared, but I still helped. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. I realized something. Repeat. Pause. Courage is not the absence of fear. Repeat. Pause. Courage is moving forward with fear. Repeat. Pause. Now copy the rhythm. Courage is moving forward with fear. Repeat. Pause. Nice. Now the story finishes with a quiet moment. Listen. A week later, I was back at my bookstore. Repeat. Pause. It was a normal day. Repeat. Pause. I was arranging books on a shelf. Repeat. Pause. Then the door opened. Repeat. Pause. And I heard a small voice. Repeat. Pause. Excuse me, do you remember me? Repeat. Pause. I turned around. Repeat. Pause. It was Sarah. Repeat. Pause. The girl from the airport. Repeat. Pause. She was not crying now. Repeat. Pause. She was smiling. Repeat. Pause. I smiled back. Repeat. Pause. I said, Sarah, yes, I remember you. Repeat. Pause. Now make your voice friendly. Yes, I remember you. Repeat. Pause. Good. Next. Sarah said, I wanted to thank you. Repeat. Pause. She said, you helped me when I was scared. Repeat. Pause. I felt my chest warm. Repeat. Pause. I said, I'm glad you're okay. Repeat. Pause. Sarah looked at the books. Repeat. Pause. She said, this place is nice. Repeat. Pause. I said, do you like reading? Repeat. Pause. Sarah nodded. Repeat. Pause. She said, yes, I love stories. Repeat. Pause. I laughed softly. Repeat. Pause. I said, me too. Repeat. Pause. And that day, something simple happened. Repeat. Pause. We talked. Repeat. Pause. We shared a story. Repeat. Pause. And we became friends. Repeat. Pause. Now, take a breath. The story is finished. And now the real practice begins. Because shadowing works best when you repeat. Not one time. Many times. So here's what I want you to do next. Listen to this story again. This time, do it with control. When you hear one sentence, pause. Repeat the sentence. Copy the voice, copy the speed, copy the feeling. If the sentence is long, you can break it into 2 parts. That is okay. If you make mistakes, that is okay. Shadowing is not a test. Shadowing is training. Now, I want to give you a short practice routine you can do today. Just listen and follow my voice. First, listen to one sentence. Repeat it 1 time. Then repeat it 1 more time, a little stronger. For example, let's use a line from the story. I think someone is following me. Repeat. Pause. Now again, stronger. I think someone is following me. Repeat. Pause. Good. Now another line. We need help. Repeat. Pause. Again, clearer. We need help. Repeat. Pause. Nice. Now another line. You're safe with me. Repeat. Pause. Again, warmer. You're safe with me. Repeat. Pause. Great. Now, if you want an extra challenge, do this. After you shadow a sentence, try to say it 1 more time without listening. Just you. Just your memory. It can be imperfect, but it helps your speaking become more active. And one more tip. Record yourself sometimes. Just a short part. Maybe 30 seconds. Then listen. Do you sound clear? Do you sound smooth? Do you sound confident? You might be surprised. You might hear, oh, I sound better than I thought. And even if you don't feel happy yet, that's fine. Because every day you practice, you build a stronger voice. Okay, so now, my friend, it's your turn. Go back to the story. Play it again. Pause after each sentence, shadow it, and try to add emotion, fear, relief, kindness, courage. Because when you copy emotion, you start to sound like a real English speaker. All right. Thank you for practicing with me today. My name is David. And now, let's go back to the beginning of the story and shadow it 1 more time, slowly and confidently, from the very first line. Before you go, remember this. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. Learning English is the same. Some days are easy. Some days are slow, some days feel frustrating. That is normal. What matters is that you show up, you listen, you repeat, you try again. If you stay consistent, your English will grow. Slowly, naturally. This is exponential English. Small steps, every day, big change over time. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take a breath, drink some water, and when you are ready, keep learning.